Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've joined me for this tutorial for the Welsh wave sweater today. This tutorial is meant to accompany my pattern that's available on Etsy and Ravelry. You'll find the links below. And starting with this video, my patterns will be available for free to those who join as members. So if you'd consider supporting the channel by becoming a member, you'll find a link in the community tab for members only, which will lead you to the download for the pattern. I'll be making a size large today. You may be able to just follow along with the video and get enough of an idea to recreate this for yourself, and that's fine. But if you would like one of the other sizes or the full written pattern, just follow the links below and come back when you've got your pattern and your yarn ready to go. For the sweater, I will be using a sport weight yarn. It's Patton's Beehive Baby. It's a number 3 weight yarn. It's a 70% acrylic, 30% nylon yarn, 100 grams, and the length is 359 yards or 328 meters. And you'll need 350 grams for a large and a 3.75 millimeter hook. To begin, you will need a chain of 103. So come back when you've got your chain and we will begin row 1. Row 1 begins with a double crochet in the third chain from the hook. I'm going to be working in the back bump of the chain because that gives a neater bottom edge to the sweater. So a double crochet in the third chain, then double crochet in the next 3, and then I'm going to be doing a double crochet 3 together over the next 3 chains. So to do that, you start your double crochet with a yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through the first 2, leave the last loop on the hook, don't finish it off. Do the same thing in the next chain. Start your double crochet by pulling through the first 2 loops, but don't finish it. And then do that a third time in the next chain. After that one, you'll have 3 partially completed double crochets plus the loop that you started with. Pick up a loop and pull through all 4 of those. Then a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And now I'm going to make a corresponding increase by doing 3 double crochets in the next 1 chain. Three double crochets in the next 3 chains. Well, that is 1 in each. Then do your double crochet 3 together. Then 3 more double crochets to go up the next side. And a group of 3 double crochets in the next 1 stitch. You can see how the waves are starting to form. You'll continue that sequence, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochet together, 3 double crochets, and 3 double crochets in one stitch all the way to the end of your chain. At the end of your first row, you'll find that you're ending on the peak of the wave, but instead of putting 3 double crochets in that last stitch, you'll end with just 2 double crochets in that last stitch. So that's the end of that sequence. For row 2, you're going to turn and chain 3, and then double crochet in the very first stitch. So at the base of the chain, in the top of the double crochet below, you're going to do a double crochet, and that's essentially an increase stitch. So you'll have 2 double crochets in that first stitch made up of your chain 3 and your double crochet stacked on top of the one below. Then double crochet in the next 3, next you'll double crochet 3 together. The middle one of those will be the double crochet 3 together from the row below. So do the first half of 1 double crochet, the first half of another one, and the first half of a third one. You'll have 4 loops on the hook. Pull a loop through all 4, and now you have a matching decrease on top of the one below. 3 double crochets in the next double crochets in the next 3, then 3 in the next 1, and that one stitch that you're putting 3 into will be the center of the one that had 3 in it below. So the center of the group of 3, you'll put another group of 3. Double crochet in the next 3, double crochet 3 together, double crochet in the next 3, and at the top of this wave, double crochet 3 times in the one stitch, and just continue in that same manner, repeating the waves down to the end of the row. And you'll just repeat this row over and over again, doing 2 double crochets in the last stitch, turn and chain 3, and work your way back. When your piece is long enough for the back, which in the case of a large is 22 inches, look at the pattern for the other sizes or adjust to the length that you prefer if you want it a little bit longer or shorter. And with the wrong side facing when you're ending. Okay, so we're starting the next row with the right side facing. I like the right side, if I look at the bottom of the work, as the one where I can see the starting chain. But if you prefer the other side, it doesn't matter. Just be consistent throughout the garment. Okay, so we're going to work a row to even out the scallopy edge. So we're going to turn and chain 1. Then starting in the first stitch, which was the last double crochet that I did, I'm going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches, half double crochet in the next 2. So a half double is a yarn over, go into the work, pick one up, and pick up another one and go through all 3. Yarn over, into the work, yarn over and pull it back through, yarn over, go through 3. That's a half double. Go back to my beginner videos if that's not something you've done before and you need a slower explanation. The next 3 are double crochets. Then 2 more half double crochets. And 3 single crochets. And then repeat starting with the 2 half doubles. 2 half double crochets, 3 double crochets, two more half doubles going up the other side, and across the top, which is the cluster of 3 double crochets, do 3 single crochets. So you'll know you're staying on track if your 3 singles end up on top of your 3 doubles that were in the same stitch from the row below. Again, 2 half doubles, 3 double crochet, two half doubles, and 3 single crochet. Continue in that repeat across to the end, but at the end you'll only have 2 single crochets to match the other end. Okay, I'll join you on the next row. All right, so the next step for the back, once you've straightened off your wavy edge, is to chain 1 and turn, and in each stitch across work a single crochet for 2 rows. So I'm going to work across in single crochet and back again, and then I'll be ready to start the neck and shoulder shaping. So I will join you after I have 2 rows of single crochet. All right, my 2 rows of single crochet are complete. I'm going to chain 1 and turn and begin the neck and shoulder shaping. So the neck, of course, will be over here, shoulder against this outside edge. And for a large, this begins by single crocheting 34. Check your pattern for the other sizes. But for a large, do 34 and then come back. 34 single crochets are complete. The next instruction is to single crochet 2 together. So to do that, start like a regular single crochet, drawing up a loop, but don't work those ones off just yet. Go into the next stitch and draw up a loop. Now you'll have 3. Yarn over and go through all 3. That turns 2 stitches into 1. So it results in a decrease at the neck edge. Turn and chain 1. Now we're also going to do a decrease on this row, and in order to do that, we're going to skip over the first single crochet and single crochet into the second single crochet to the end. At the end of the row, as before, turn and chain 1 and single crochet until you get to the last 2 stitches. If you're having trouble figuring out which 2 are the last 2, just tip your work up, look for the V's. This little tiny V at the end, that's my turn. I don't want to count that one. So these last 2 V's are my last 2 stitches. In the case of a large, you're going to have 32 stitches before the last 2, which makes sense, right? Because the first row we did 34 plus the decrease. The second row would have been 33 plus the decrease, and this one's 32 plus the decrease, which is a single crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. Turn and chain 1, or chain 1 and turn, whatever, either way works. And again, we're going to decrease on this row by starting in the second single crochet, This time we're going to work our way across until there are 12 stitches left and start the shoulder shaping. Okay, so I have 12 stitches left on this shoulder edge. Again, that number might be different for other sizes. Check your pattern, but for a large it's 12. And then again, single crochet 2 together in the next 2 stitches and leave the last 10 for the shoulder edge. Turn and chain 1. And just like on the neck edge, we're going to decrease on this edge by starting in the second single crochet and work across to the last 2 stitches and single crochet 2 together over the last 2. Then we have just one more row to go. In the last 2 stitches, do single crochet 2 together, chain 1 and turn, starting in the second single crochet across, this time until you have 10 stitches left for a large. Check your pattern for the other sizes. With 10 stitches remaining, single crochet 2 together and bind off. So pull another loop through, cut the yarn and work that in later on. Okay, so there's the shoulder shaping. A little bit of a drop off here at the shoulder, and at the neckline, a bit of a scoop for the back of the neck. Next, you'll go to the other side of the back, pick up in the first stitch with your yarn again, attach it to that first stitch, and work the same shaping for the other shoulder. When both sides of the shaping on the back are done, and you have your neck opening here and your shoulders slanting off on the sides, we're going to set this piece aside and start working on the front. The front of the sweater is worked in exactly the same way. Start with your chain row and begin making your waves, working up until for a large you have 1 inch less than you did for the back. So that is 21 inches. In the case of a large, check your pattern for the other sizes. Then work your straightening off row, just like you did for the back, with your 2 single crochets, 2 half doubles, 3 doubles, 2 half doubles, 3 singles, right? And repeat across to make your straightening out row. Do your 2 rows of single crochet, just like you did on the back. And now we're going to start our neck and shoulder shaping for the front. Now, because the front comes down a little further and the shaping starts closer to the center of the sweater, we're going to start with 40 single crochets for a large, and then single crochet 2 together at the neck edge. So there's my 40 with the decrease at the end, the single crochet 2 together. And just like we did on the back, we're going to chain 1 and turn, single crochet in the second stitch and across to the end. The next 6 rows will be worked in the same manner. So you're going to do 38 and then 2 together, coming back. The next one will be 36, 34, and 32. Then proceed with the shaping as for the back, where you're working off the shoulder side and the neck side at the same time. So I'm going to do 6 more rows and then I'll come back when I'm ready for the shoulder shaping. Okay, so I've done my 6 stitches. It's staying even on the outside edge and getting a nice edge along, or scoop along the inside edge, which is the neck edge. In this last row for the large, I did 32 single crochets and a decrease. Again, check your pattern for your sizes. The purpose of the video isn't to give every detail for every size, that would take far too long, but to just help you visualize how this is constructed, particularly if you haven't made anything this advanced before. So now I'm going to continue as I did for the back. I'm going to turn, work in the second single crochet and across until I get to 12 remaining. Do 2 together, go back, do 2 together at the neck edge, go back until there are 10 remaining, and then bind off. When the shoulder is finished, the shaping will match the back of the sweater, and the front and back will be the same length. The only difference is that the front will come down a little bit lower. So the next step is to attach your yarn at the other side of the front and repeat the shoulder shaping for the other side, for the left side. When both your front and back pieces are done, you are most of the way there. We can start assembling the sweater. To do that, put your 2 pieces together at the shoulder and sew up the shoulder seam on each side, starting at the point where the edge of the neck scoops up here to the top of the shoulder, down to the outside of the shoulder. So just using an overhand or a mattress stitch, just stitch those 2 together. Next, you'll sew the side of the sweater, starting at the bottom, working your way up and leaving an opening for the armhole. For the large size, your armhole opening will be 8.5 inches. The other sizes are in the pattern. But of course, you can try it on and have the armhole opening any size that's comfortable for you. There's the shoulder seam sewn together. When I'm stitching together, I like to lay the pieces kind of flat next to each other like this, and I work from the outside usually, just holding on to the work as I go. You can see here I'm holding on with my thumb so that when I pull my stitches, I'm hanging onto the seam so it doesn't bunch up. I want to leave it laying nice and flat. And when I lay it out like this, I can see that my rows are lining up and I'm not getting a distortion where the rows are meeting. My zigzags or my waves are meeting along the seam, and when you do that, your seam nearly disappears. So just working along, putting a couple of stitches in each row. Work your way up to the armhole opening. Okay, so when your armhole is the right size and you've sewn up the side seam, then it's time to work a band around the armhole. There's not really a sleeve on this sweater, it's just a little cap sleeve made by a band around the armhole. So picking up the yarn, joining it at the base of the armhole, I'm going to work a row of single crochets around the edge of the armhole, working 2 single crochets in the side of each double crochet row and 1 single crochet in the side of each single crochet row here at the top of the shoulder, going all the way around, and then at the end slip stitch into the starting stitch, turn, chain 1 and go around 4 more times, and you will get a sleeve edging that looks like this. The last thing to do is to work a couple rows of single crochet around the neck edge. You might notice that on one side of the neck it tends to curl up a little bit. So I'm going to join the yarn at the point where the front and the back meet at the shoulder, and single crochet around the neck edge. Again, putting one stitch in the edge of each single crochet row, and then one in each single crochet going around the center front and the center back until I come back around to my starting point, slip stitch into this first stitch, and do one more row, binding off after the second row. Of course, if you find the neck is a little wide for what you'd like, you can always add a couple more rows of single crochet. But in most cases, I think 2 rows should do it. I hope that you've really enjoyed this project and that you'll try it for yourself using a lovely baby weight yarn or number 3 weight yarn. It makes a great shoulder season sweater, something nice for the spring or the fall, or if you're the kind of person who just doesn't like long sleeves, it's a nice way to wear a sweater without the extra warmth of the long sleeves. If you enjoyed this design, I hope that you will join me for more videos, and please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. Have a super day.